Hey there, welcome back to the Free Black Women's Library YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Thank you so much for liking this video. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome to another Rambly review of the Marvelous series, written, produced, directed, and starring Michaela Cole, based on a true life experience of Michaela Cole's, currently airing on HBO, called I May Destroy You. We're at the penultimate episode. There's only one episode left, y'all, and pause. All right, I'm back. So we're at the penultimate episode. There's only one episode left, y'all, and I am having a watch party for the season finale. So if you'd like to watch it with me, please register in the link in the description box for the watch party. We'll kiki for a little bit beforehand and a little bit afterwards about the series and think about all the different things we learned from it and talk about characters, music, whatever we want, over chat, over Zoom, over whatever, all right? Over the internet, which is the only way that we can relate safely these days because, you know, Corona. So, you know, social distancing, masks, etc. I hope y'all are all doing that-ish. I hope you're following those guidelines to keep yourself safe, okay? So, anyway, let's get into this episode. Number 11, would you like to know the sex? Now, this title, I don't know about this title. I feel kind of conflicted about it, considering one of the things I've loved about this series is the episode titles. I feel like they're all really significant, and I don't know how I feel about this one. I'm a little on the fence, but opening teaser, we're in Kwame's exercise class, which I would love to take because I like that kind of motivational, affirmational, playing music, getting all sweaty. Looking at yourself in the mirror, getting charged up, feeling strong, feeling healthy, feeling powerful. And then you sit down, you relax, you drink some water, you stretch. Really being in your body is so joyful. I especially love dancing. But anyway, opening teaser is Kwame's class. We're at the end of class, we're taking a little break. Bella's all into this book, the Sundial, blue and yellow cover. She's sitting there reading in between. And I know how that is because there are some books that I just like, if I'm not doing anything else, I'm reading that book. So I'm thinking that book must be really good, right? And Terri goes onto her phone, Kwame goes onto his phone. He gets a text from Tyrone. Boo Tyrone. So okay, so they're still kicking it, nice. Terri gets a text, she looks all freaked out. They're looking at her like, what's wrong, why do you look like that? And she's like, it's like, did somebody die? Come on, Terri, tell us what's going on. Turns out that auditions that she went on, where she was practicing for on Mommy's birthday, she got that job. Woo, yay, Terri got a job. Terri got an acting job. Go, Terri. Get it, girl, you about to blow up? Okay, I like that. So, you know, they're all excited. They're all like hugging her, jumping around. Wonderful, wonderful news. So we're starting this episode on a really good note. I May Destroy You, credits roll. Boom, here we go. Getting into it. Now, Bella is like on the toilet. Reading Sundial, the same book, and she's got this funny little hat on, kind of looks like a dog dish. It's really, really cute though. It's like black and really sharp, and you know, she's got the funny little hat on. She's reading Sundial, and then we're outside in the backyard. Ben is working on his plants, and Kwame and Terri and Ben are talking. So we know Ben is definitely real now. So that whole like, Ben's not real, can we throw that theory out the window? Because they're having a full-on conversation with him multiple times throughout the series. He's real. He's just quiet. He's introverted. He's shy. He's to himself. But he's real, okay? And, you know, he seems like a good person, kind person so far. And Kwame's talking about Tyrone and dating him and how weird it is because Tyrone is like so nice and they're doing really corny things like going to a farm and about to go kayaking. They probably hold hands and look at art, and you know, it sounds like a bomb ass relationship. And if you can find that on Grindr, then I'm pro Grindr. Yeah, I really like this episode. So I think it had a lot of really high points, and I think this relationship with Tyrone was just one of them for me, because it's just really good to see Kwame happy and being taken care of and feeling, you know, coming into himself, the depth of himself, not putting himself out there repeatedly with all these random dudes trying to fill this empty void. You know, like getting some love and also being challenged, like having his views and his perspective of relationships challenged. Like it's not just sex. There's other things you can do and have a good time and have fun. So, I don't know, Terri is kind of like bored with that. So she goes to look for Bella. They open the door and she's like, just a little bit left. It's okay. Body functions or like this underlying thing that appeared in the series. We already know that. Period blood, episode 3 or 2. So she comes out, she finishes, the book is finished, she's obsessed with this book, it's so good. She wants to meet the author. The author's name is Della. She's published from the same publishing house, Henny House, same place that Bella signed to. So it's like, oh, maybe Susie Henny could hook you up. Maybe, you know, maybe she could, like, remember she offered to have you meet with other writers before and let her know that you want to meet with Della. And Terry's like, well, no, we got to make this interesting. We got to add some layers to this. So they decide to shoot this video, and Bella's like looking at the camera, like, hey, my name is Bella. I really love your book. I would love to meet you. And Terry's like, nah, you know, as someone who just got a job, this is boring. Like, we got to give a little bit of drama, give a little bit of edge. So they decide they're going to shoot this video of Bella sitting on the toilet. And I really like what she says. Like, she talks about, you know, we're two young women who are out here, like, writing and spreading awareness around the patriarchy and whatever. You know, Bella has a way with words. So we already know that she's probably an excellent writer. She just needs to probably sit down and just focus, right? Because she has a wonderful way with words and a great way of expressing herself. So she shoots the video, and they send the video, you know. Bella's like, should I really do this? Should I send this video? And Terry's like, yes, do it. And she's like, Ben, should I do this? And Ben's like, I guess. Like, you can tell Ben's kind of like, I don't think this is a good idea. But what's going to stop Bella from doing what she wants to do? Terry's just that, like, you can do it. You can be and do whatever you want, Bella. If you want to send a video to some random writer with you sitting on the toilet talking shit, do it. I don't know if Terry's a good influence all the time, but she's a good friend. So anyway, so she sends the video, and Della blocks her on Instagram. She doesn't respond to the message, and she just blocks her, which is like, damn, double punch. You left me on red, and you blocked me, so I can't even reach out to you again at some point and be like, hey, I'm sorry for that weird video I sent you of me on the toilet. So, yeah. So we see, they're like, okay, plan B, I guess, is to go to ask Susie Henny. You know, like, let's say Susie might have been excited to see Bella if she like had an appointment, or if she turned in any drafts of her book. But no, Bella hasn't turned in any work, and once again she's showing up unannounced asking for a favor. The first time she showed up, she was asking for money. Now she's asking for a favor. Both times we still haven't seen this infamous book that we have invested so much money in. Like, we've given you money, we've flown you to Italy, it's been months. Where's the book, Bella, right? But Bella doesn't think about any of this. She's just like, in her cute little hat, she's just like, I'm gonna just go over to Susie Henny's office and ask her if she can hook me up with Della, because I love that book, and maybe if I talk to her, she'll help me figure out how to write my book. Susie Henny's office, which we didn't really get to see the full view of her office during that scene with the pomegranate seeds. When Bella was there the first time, we didn't get to see all these beautiful plants and this like amazing view. Like, Susie is a boss. She's living large, okay? She is in charge. Like, Henny House is Susie, right? Susie Henny. She's got the most beautiful office filled with plants. Like, this is my dream space because I am a proud plant mommy. Like, I love plants. I think I have about maybe 30 plants, and I really want like 100 plants. But anyway, yeah, I think I'm about between 30 and 40 right now. And I just love plants. Like, I find them so beautiful and so gorgeous, and so much fun to be around, to watch them grow. And I was feeling Susie when she was like feeling on the leaves, because I just posted a video on my Instagram where I was like rubbing on the leaves of my plant and playing Aretha Franklin for them, because it was just the anniversary of her ascension was Sunday. So yeah, anyway, that was a ramble. And so Susie's like feeling on the leaves, and she's like, this one is my favorite. And I can't say I have a favorite plant. I think that would vary depending on my mood, just like music and song and books and films. But she's like feeling on the plant. She's like, you know, and then she asks Bella, do you grow plants? And Bella's like, oh, you know, I love it. I want to get into it. And Susie's like, you should. It's, you know, the growing things. It's really good for us. And you know, we're descended from plants. Like, we're descended from trees. And Bella says that's where we get the melanin. And Susie's like, what? And she said that's where we get the melanin. And Susie was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, because trees are brown, our skin is brown. And Susie says, do you believe in multiple races as a rational taxonomy? I'm still trying to figure out what that question is. I need to look up some words. But she says that, and Bella's like, oh, I'm not sure. I need to think about that a little more. I need to process it, which is an excellent answer to a question. Excellent. You know, if you're not sure what someone's saying to you, you can ask them, what did they mean? That would be more honest. Or you can just say, I need to process that a little more. Like, if you're trying to appear smart. So Susie says, really nice, nasty. Where's your draft? And Bella's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I would really love to meet Della, the writer of the Sundial. And Susie's like, no, that's not gonna happen. I really think she could help me. No, she can't help you. The shade. She can't help you. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, I'm cracking up. Thanks for stopping by. Ooh, I'm laughing so hard because I'm like, the smoothness of it. Susie was like, it was like she was saying, if you don't get the hell out of my office with your bullshit, I'm gonna call security. Like, she went over to the phone, she picked up the receiver, and I was like, she's about to do something on that phone. Like, who's she gonna call? Turns out, she called Bella's agents, Francine and Julian. Our dear Francine, our dear Julian, we haven't seen them in a while. And their relationship with Bella is still the same, where Francine is the very, like, cold ice queen. And Julian is the very, like, coddling, like, kind of high energy, kind of anxious sweat guy, you know? They're like, they play off of each other really, really well. Julian's like, so yeah, since you didn't finish this book and you haven't given us a draft, this contract is canceled, you've been fired. we're also fired and we need to give that money back. Like all the money that they've invested in you, they want all that back. You know, and she's like, oh, wow, I guess I shouldn't have gone to Susie's office. And Francine's like, why did you do that? Why would you do that? So, meanwhile, Kwame is meeting with Nullifer. And it's interesting. This scene was interesting to me because I don't know if it is Tyrone's influence that inspired Kwame to reach out to Nullifer so that he could apologize to her for what he did, or if it's Arabella going off on him and him understanding that what he did was wrong. Either way, something motivated Kwame, or if it's just his own growth and his own healing. Either way, something motivated Kwame to reach out to Nullifer to apologize. And I really respect that. I really, really respect that, because he could have just let it go. And it made me think about the times where I have done things. Well, there's one specific time that it made me think of. And there is a person that I have been thinking about recently that I'd like to reach out to apologize to. And when I saw that, I was like, ooh. But the thing that happened between me and this person was like 2 years ago. So I wonder if they even remember or think about it. So it's weird, but anyway, so they're sitting and Kwame's like, you know, I just wanted to tell you I'm sorry for what I did. I shouldn't have done that. I was going to a time when I wanted to explore having sex with women, and I was on the app and you and I connected and we had such a nice time. Like, you know, it seemed like things were going well. And then by the time, you know, we were together and I thought maybe you might be the person for this experiment, but I didn't realize that you were not, or whatever. Maybe we could have been friends. And Nullifer is not here for the bullshit, which was sad to me. She's like, well, I guess if I hadn't said what I had said, you know, maybe I would have never found out. But either way, I think you're a piece of shit. And she says predators and criminals usually get away with things. Predators and criminals, Nullifer? Do predators and criminals reach out and apologize to you months later? Like, offer to take you out for a meal and act contrite and sincere? Girl, I don't know, that was too much, but y'all already know that I don't really like Nullifer that much, so maybe I'm just biased because I thought Kwame was being earnest, and she ends up leaving. She's rocking that silly beret. I don't know why she put that beret on. She said she wore it when she was trying to cover herself up. But anyway, so she leaves, right? So Bella and Terri are at Ego Death Bar doing her usual haunting, stalking thing. Apparently she's been doing it like every night for a while. She's obsessing. And you know, she asked Ben to go with her, and Ben's like, you know, I won't be going out. She's there, and she's crying. Terry's with her. Terri is scheming on Kai, the cutie, who waited on them last time they were there, the waiter. She liked his swag. That's what she said last week. So she writes her phone number down. Kai comes over and says, you guys need anything else? And she's like, no, you know, just to check. And if you text me at this number, then I'll have your number. And I said, oh, Terri, I like that. I like that. Very direct. No, I'm not here to play no games with you. I like you, right? Okay, Terri, like, I like that. Anyway, and Kai's feeling it. He's like, great, not a problem. So he goes to get their bill, and then while he's gone to get their bill, Bella gets a text or an email from Della, the writer of the Sundial, saying, hey, I got your message and I would love to, I would still like to meet you if you want to meet up. When's a good time? She shows it to Terri. They're all excited. She says, now, now, now. So Bella texts Della, now's a good time. Kai comes out. Kai's leaving. Terri rushes after him. A little too thirsty, okay? Let's not be running after people, okay? We can give them my number, but let's not be chasing them down the street when they're leaving work. It's a little extra, Terri, okay? Trying to stay hydrated. So, anyway, so they rush off. Bella's sitting there, and look who comes walking up the street, standing, staring at Bella, looking all scruffy, looking like who did it and ran. Zayn. Bella looks up, she sees Zayn, she's like, oh, okay. A little jarring, a little stuttered, like startled. Zayn's like, hey. And Bella's like, so, I'm meeting someone here, and yeah, goodbye. And Zayn says, hi. You sent me a picture of you sitting on the toilet? And she's like, oh, fuck. Della is Zayn. Della, the writer of the book that Bella loves so much, that she relates to, that she connected with, is the person who stealthed it on her, right? Apparently he's an amazing writer. Susie Henny didn't drop him. She made him write the name under a pseudonym because of all the bad press, because he's basically now seen as a rapist. So who knows that you are Della? Just Susie and my mom, and that's pretty much it. And who gave you that name? Susie did. Susie, why you do that? Why you give Zayn a name that sounds like Bella? Why you do that? Shady. So, so then Bella's like, sitting there, and it's like mad uncomfortable. And she's like, she does need help writing her book. And she's like, you know what? Fine, just sit down. But I'm not scared of you. Okay? So, whatever. So Zayn sits down, and he brings out these sheets that... Oh, before that, sometimes I write like little random lines that I just want to share. She says to Zayn, I've gone underneath and into the darkness. I'm not scared of you. So I felt that meant like Bella has faced the harshest, meanest, ugliest parts of who she is, like with that whole like shadow self experience. It's like different stages of grief. Like there's stages of grief, I think there's stages of like trauma and like post-traumatic moments, right? And they can last for however long. Like there's no timeline. And I think that shadow self is part of that. And now she's on the other side of it, right? So now she's like, when she says that, it just reminded me of the shadow episode. But then Zayn pulls out plot diagrams for creative nonfiction. Now, where can I get a hold of these? Because creative nonfiction is one of my favorite genres, and it is the genre that I attempt to write when I do attempt writing. So I really got perked up when I saw that. Plot diagrams for creative nonfiction, right? So meanwhile, Terri and Kai are on a date. I don't know if that chase down led to them having a meal together, but they had the same clothes on, so I guess it did. They're getting food, and Terry's food comes out. It's in front of her. Kai's food comes out. It's in front of him. She likes Kai's food better than her food, so she decides to switch meals and get what he got. Their waiter says, I'm should wait until you're leaving, but I just want to say I saw you on the flip side. It was really inspiring. Terri's like, oh, you're famous. She likes that. And Kai talks about how he's an artist, a fine artist, and also plays guitar. Okay, Kai. And Terri's like, oh, tell me more. Like, tell me about your music, whatever, your art. And, you know, what was the flip side? And Kai's like, oh, you know, I don't really, let's not talk about that right now. Let's just, like, eat. Like, you know, and she's like, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. So she goes to the loo and Googles Kai, and it turns out that Kai is trans. She comes back looking all shook, looking all nervous. You know, trying to play it off like it's all good. Her food comes out, her second meal that she ordered comes out, and she's acting all weird, and Kai's like, so you want to leave now? And she's like, why would I want to leave? And she's like, and he's like, oh, okay, fine. Your food's here, so you want to eat? And Terri tries to like act like everything is cool. She's like, tell me about you, tell me about your background, like where you're from, whatever. And then Kai tells his story, and he talks about the fact that he's trans. He presents as male, but he has a vagina. And Terri's like trying to act like she's not shook, but she's obviously shook. And she's like, I'm not a prude. I had a threesome once. She tells Kai the story of her threesome, and it is then that Kai brings to her attention. I don't know if she never talked to anyone else about it in the 10 months that it's happened. Now almost a year, right? But Kai's like, it sounds like you were set up. Like, it sounds like those guys knew each other and they wanted to have a threesome and you were available, so they tried their little shtick on you. And Terri looks kind of dumbstruck, but also like she knew it all along, but never wanted to admit it to herself that that's what happened. She was taken advantage of. She was used. She thought she was in a position of power, and it turns out that she was not. So that's what came out of that moment. Meanwhile, back at the Ego Death Bar, Zayn and Bella are getting along really, really well. He's giving her all this really great advice. And this is when I guess him going to Cambridge comes in handy, because he has access to all these like rules around like grammar and sentence structure and plot structure and characters and narratives and arcs and, you know, resolutions, all the different systems and practices within writing that make for a really, really good novel and a really, really good read. There are certain things there. It's not so much a standard, but it's like a skeletal guideline that you can pull from. And going to Cambridge, that came in handy, right? So academics sometimes are not the worst. They're not the best, but they're not the worst. But sometimes they give you access to information that you might not have access to. Thankfully, we have the internet, so we can Google stuff. Like, I'm about to Google plot diagrams for creative nonfiction as soon as I'm done with this video, because I want to see if I can fix these essays I've been working on. Anyway, so she asked him, do you want to come over to my place? And Zayn looks all shook and nervous. And I am also kind of like, why would you ask him to come over? But it turns out she's got a bunch of note cards all over her room, bunch of ideas, bunch of sentences, bunch of questions all over the room. And Zayn helps her to kind of plot them out and organize it and get it together. And it just shifts everything. It just shifts everything. So she says thank you and asks him if he could take the two evidence bags, all the stuff that was under the bed she don't need no more. It's in these two big garbage bags. Can you take those things out for me? He leaves, and she's all into her work. She's not even paying him no mind, because that book is coming to life right before her, right? Really exciting moment. The book is coming to life. The pages, the story is making sense. So she works and she works and she works. And by the end of it all, night goes into day, day goes into night. She's eating and brushing her teeth, and she's just in her groove. She's in her groove. She's found that book writing groove. Note cards all over her room. All these different questions. One of them I read, I was able to catch a little bit of text off of a few of them. One said something about ego death bar. One said something about drugs. One said something about Terri and her audition. Does Terri take this seriously? You know, and I was like, oh wow, I would love to read this book. There's a lot of things going on. Before Zayn left, he asked her, I thought this was a book about consent. And Arabella says, yeah. And I know that when it came to writing the script for this series, I read an article where she talks about how she wrote the script. Like, there were like multiple rewrites. There were like over 70 rewrites. It was a really high number. So I wonder if she was just showing us a little bit of her process. Michaela Cole showing a little bit of her process as far as like how writing works. And like they say, writers write, and they say writing is rewriting. So let me get myself together. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, actually, there's so much more. When Bella is at Ego Death Bar later that night with Terri, after she's finished writing everything, she sees this dude, right? The dudes that drugged her. There were two of them. There was the white guy, and then there's a black guy. I'm gonna say black for just to make things simple. He's a man of color. He's definitely a man of color. He walks by her at the bar, and Bella sees him, and then she flashes back to the night of the assault and remembers everything that happened. She remembers feeling all drugged out, being taken by the two guys, put in a cab. They took her all the way across town to a whole nother bar, down to the basement of this bar and into the bathroom, and the white guy, Dave, had sex with her in the toilet. He raped her while the other guy stood watch. And I was so disgusted and so horrified that I actually had to like fast forward this scene because it was horrible. Like, now we know where she got that cut on her head, because when he got into the stall, he dropped her and she banged her head. So that's probably when she dropped her phone. And I guess they just left her there after they were done, because we see her taking money out the ATM and trying to figure out how to get home. This person who's like begging for money is the one who helped her to catch a cab home, catch a cab back to the office. So, yeah. You see how I almost didn't talk about this scene? That's how much this scene upset me. Yeah, I totally forgot about that scene. So, yeah. I can't believe it. I mean, I know that this is something that happens because my sensei talked to us in self-defense class about how there was a woman who was at a party in Brooklyn who woke up the next day in Queens. Like, this is something that happens to women. Women get drugged and get taken. And I just think about that moment in the bar when she was leaving and she was just kind of falling over. It turns out that those two men came up behind her and just kind of walked with her and got her into a cab. And I think about all the people that she passed, the people that they pass to get into the cab driver. Like, you see this woman who's almost comatose with these two men. I don't know. I just feel like not only do women need to be alert and never put your drink down, never take a drink without knowing the exact source. Women need to be alert. People need to be alert, right? Men and women need to be alert, because this happens to men too. All of us need to be alert when we're out and we're drinking, having a good time. Make sure that we have our drink with us at all times, right? In addition, I think the community also needs to play the role of being alert and just checking ins, you know, see if something looks strange, just kind of checking a little more. Like, if I'm driving a cab and I see two men in the back seat with a woman between them, and she's like, and they're like looking all guilty and nervous and excited, and I'll be like, hey, having a good night, guys? How's it going? Is she okay? Hey, miss, are you all right back there? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you see a woman or a man or a person stumbling across a bar, you know, looking really out of it, and they have no friends with them, there's nobody with them, I think checking in is important. If you go out with friends, you go together, you leave together. Don't leave a person behind. You know, just keep your eyes on each other, look out for each other. Like, there's different layers when it comes to, like, safety. And this moment, it really messed me up. It really messed me up to the point where I almost didn't talk about it in this review. So that's deep. That's deep. But anyway, yeah, so she sees the two guys who participated in the assault of her body. And here we are, right? And at the same time, Kwame and Tyrone are on a date at an art show. Nullifer texts him, "You're such a fucking pig." Like, all right, Nullifer, let it go. Like, he apologized. Girl, please, don't drag this out. So, anyway, so they're on a date. They're looking cute. They're being really coupley, rubbing shoulders and arms against each other while they're looking at art. Oh, I love it. So cute, right? And, you know, we go back to that moment at Ego Death Bar where Bella is looking at them through the glass. And she's like, those motherfuckers right there. I would have went in there. Anyway, episode ends, right? Let's talk about the 4 hurts, the 4 heels, and the favorite. 4 hurts. Hurt number 1, Bella gets fired. Arabella is fired. They want that money back. Hurt number 2, Zayn is Della. Plot twist. Hurt number 3, Nullifer rejects Kwame's apology. Now, that was a hurt. Imagine how hard it is to apologize to a person that you've hurt. I guess Nullifer is like opposite of Bella, right? Bella's all forgiving, but anyway, that was a hurt. But at least he tried. Hurt number 4, Terri figures out that she was set up for that threesome. Maybe she thought it before but wasn't sure, but now she knows for sure. 4 heels. Terri gets a job. Go Terri, go Terri, go Terri, go Terri. Heel number 2. She tossed all that shit that was underneath her bed, that monstrous, dark, scary shit that she wasn't trying to deal with or confront. She brought all that out. She sorted through it. She put it in garbage bags and got rid of that. She got Zayn to get rid of that shit. That's a heel. You know what I'm saying? Like Erykah Badu says, You know, you're gonna hurt your back carrying them bags around like that. Toss them bags. Heel number 3, Bella looks like she's finishing her book. She's integrated all of her different cells into her work. All those note cards on every part of the room, you know. She's got her shadow self up there. She's got her playful self. She's got her exhausted self. She's got her extreme behavior self. All, you know, all of it is up there on those walls. She has completely exercised and turned it into a project, just like Michaela Cole turned what happened to her into this project, right? And heel number 4, Kwame and Tyrone sitting in a tree. Kissing. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes Kwame with a baby carriage. I'm a romantic, y'all. I love that ish. Now, my favorite thing about this episode, Susie Henny's plants, baby. Those plants, that jungle, that villa, that green, those bright ass windows with multiple plants everywhere. Oh, what an absolute gorgeous, beautiful dream. Oh my God, I loved it so much. That was my favorite thing about this episode. I was swooning over those plants. And that is it. So join me for the season finale next week, for the watch party if you like. And also, leave me a plant emoji in the comments if you've made it through this entire video, and let me know what you thought about this episode. Did anything hurt you? Did anything heal you? What was your favorite part? All right, and I'll see y'all next week for the finale.